Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture, we'll be looking at how we can improve our display. Right now you can see that when we are displaying these vegetables, they are only displaying the title or the name of the vegetable. But we can definitely improve that. We can display the name, we can display a nice image and so on. So let's see how we can do that. I'm going to go and create a new folder and I'll call it views. And over here, I will create my reusable view. So I'll go ahead and add a new file from the template. Basically, we're creating a cell which will represent each single vegetable. Vegetable cell view. That's a nice name for it. If it's a cell that will mostly be displayed in a list. But I guess you can also call it vegetable view also if you want. Okay, now vegetable cell view is dependent on a vegetable, so you need to pass in a vegetable that you want to display. But this is where it becomes a problem. When we add the vegetable as a property in vegetable cell view, now the preview is complaining that, hey, you gotta pass in the vegetable. Because that's one of the dependencies. So how can we do that? Well, we can go ahead and create a vegetable, right? We can create a normal vegetable, vegetable, and we can decode it or we can create it in a different way. Let's take a look at what the vegetable actually looks like. You can see that the only constructor it has is with the init decoder and all that. So how can we construct this kind of vegetable? So that will be something interesting, right? Yes, we can go ahead and we can probably create another initializer where we simply pass in the value. But I'll show you a different way of how you can, configure these things. So one of the things that we can do, let's first remove that. One of the things we can do is we already have the JSON. That's a lot of JSON, right? We can actually copy all of this JSON, all of it. Hopefully it's not going to copy these arrows, but let's go ahead and copy this. And in our preview content, I can go ahead and I can put this JSON. So let's go ahead and say create an empty file and I'll call it vegetables.json. And I'll just paste everything. So this hopefully is all valid JSON. We just copied it from the URL that we had and we just copied it into a JSON file. The reason I'm doing that is for the preview, I can actually use this JSON because it's exactly like the one on the web. Now, I can, however, also make a call to my server and get all of this JSON. But for me, it's much nicer that I can just refer to this, at least for the previews. It will be faster. I will always have access to this file, so I can work while I don't have any internet connection also. So these are a couple of things you need to keep in mind, especially when you're working with previews. So now if I go to vegetable cell view, I can now start implementing some sort of a preview data helper which can give me all of this JSON. All right. So I'm going to go again to the preview content, add a new file. And there are again many different ways of doing that. I'm just going to create one single file and we can call it preview data. And the whole point of this particular file, preview data, is to just provide you with the data. And you can create, the functions in there which are generic and all that stuff. I'm just going to take the simplest approach I can find and I'm just going to create separate functions. So I'll say preview data. It's a simple struct. And we will have a static function in there. We can say load vegetable. I guess I can say fetch vegetables. Load is fine also, load. Or should we just call it something else? It's up to you. All right, load vegetables. this is going to return us vegetable. Now the purpose of this function is to read the JSON file, get it, decode it, and then return an array of vegetables so that we can use it in the previews. So let's go ahead and do that. Bundle dot is only for, we're going to use it for previews, okay? Nothing else. What's the name of the file? Well, it's called vegetables.json. Oh, just vegetables, I guess, because the extension itself is JSON, so we can actually do that, JSON. Else we can't really do anything. We can just return an empty this, or we can just throw an error. Next, we can start loading the data from that particular URL. So we can say data, contents of the URL, try let data, and then we can just start wrapping it up because this can actually, blow up. Okay, so we got that. And now we can, once we have the data, we can actually go ahead and decode it. So decode into vegetable.self. And this function can be generic also, where you simply pass in the type that you want to get and also the name of the file, the name of the resource. But we don't really have that many things where we want to start decoding. I mean, vegetables is one of them, and the other one is just best information, which we can write another function for it. All right, there we go. So, and this will be in try. So this is our function. It's a really small function, load vegetables, which simply, load all of this information from the vegetables JSON file and, decode it into vegetables and return it to you. And now, since we have that, we can actually use it. So I'm going to say over here, vegetables. Now keep in mind that we are supposed to pass here a single vegetable, right? So preview data dot load vegetables. So this is going to return an array, and then we can just pick the first one. Now you might say, hold on a second, isn't that like unsafe that because you're passing 0? Well, if it's unsafe, you're immediately going to get the result your preview is going to crash, right? So it's okay. Don't make it complicated, make it simple. Let's try to print something out. Vegetable.name. Okay, carrot. Okay, so that's a good indication, which means that it is actually working correctly. Next, we will have to create the user interface. Now, user interface is completely 100% up to you. And to be really honest, you can actually use ChatGPT to create some sort of a user interface. All right, that will be perfectly fine. If you want to do that, that's perfectly fine. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to not type it out, but copy it. And then you can see what exactly is going on. All right. So let me find the user interface that we want. We can just copy it. I mean, it's completely up to you how you create it. So I've already done that. So I'm just going to copy it over here. I mean, it's going to be a lot of code, as you can see. Let's align it correctly. And hopefully, there we go. It looks so nice. See that? It writes the information. It shows a beautiful image of a carrot, the name carrot. It also writes some sort of a little bit of a description, like some part of it, a couple of lines. And you can, change these things to your needs. This is completely up to you. Okay. So vegetable cell view now looks like we can actually use it. Let's go to our screen. Actually, I do want to create a different folder for screens. What's the difference between screens and views? Well, screen is more of a container which contains other views. So in our application, the screen can be VegetableListScreen, adding a new vegetable screen, My Garden screen. And the views in those cases can be vegetable cell view, and some other views that we are using are the list view and the built-in views. All right. Okay, so this looks good. Let's just replace this text with a vegetable cell view and pass in the vegetable. Wow, it looks pretty good, right? Let's see if we can play around with this padding. If I have to remove this padding, probably. Okay, yeah, it's kind of up to you. I mean, if you want to remove the padding, have the padding. Again, the UI is completely up to you. Whatever you like is perfectly fine. All right. Okay, so that was good. We were able to display the vegetables. They look really nice. I can also, because eventually we will have a navigation stack, so I can also go ahead and wrap this with a navigation stack. And, just taking simple steps, go ahead and add a navigation title, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to say vegetables. And there we go. We got a navigation title also. And these are all the vegetables. They look pretty good, right? I mean, nice. You can see the images are beautiful. The description is also showing a couple of lines, the name and everything, and they look really nice. You can also look at it on a dark mode, which is my favorite mode. So if I click on that, you can see the colored screen. We'll just change it to dark mode. Oh, I think it looks really nice on the dark mode, actually. Look at that. All right, beautiful. There we go. Let's change it to light mode. I think most of the people, depending on your audience, they will probably be using it on the light mode. So I'm just going to leave it there, but it looks really nice on dark mode too. All right. So this is pretty good. We are able to, display all the vegetables. In the next videos, we'll be learning about how to add a tab bar, because right now we don't really have a tab bar at the bottom. We need a couple of different tabs, like going to the home, going to the garden, and pest information. So we need to add those things. All right. So in the next lecture, we'll be looking at how to build a simple tab bar for our application. So hopefully you're enjoying this series. And if you are, I would really appreciate that you check out azamsharp.school. azamsharp.school hosts one of the largest catalogs for iOS development videos. You can check out these amazing reviews from my students who have taken my courses. And there are multiple ways to take these courses. You can sign up, become a monthly member or an annual member. When you become a member, you get workshops for free. And these workshops, I'll show you, they are like 3 hours long. We just finished it a couple of days ago on Vapor, and the students, they loved it. All right. And look at all these courses. There is not a single website in the world where you can find the variety of the courses that I have. Skip. I mean, I have a course on Skip. Most people don't even know what Skip is. So check it out. I have a course on full stack iOS development with e-commerce app with Node and Postgres, like complete full stack application. This is amazing courses. SwiftUI architecture, Supabase course, SwiftData course, full stack with Vapor, machine learning, SwiftData, core data, test event. These courses just goes on and on, right? I mean, these are just amazing courses that are available. And workshops too. I mean, these workshops, this is the one that we just finished, the Vapor workshops. It was very good. People loved it. There are some other workshops coming in, like machine learning workshop and then SwiftData workshops. And I keep on adding new workshops also. So you're going to have fun attending these. These are 3-hour workshops, and they are really, really, really good. All right. So check out azamsharp.school. Also, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Please make sure to give the thumbs up, subscribe, like, share the channel also on social media and LinkedIn. That really, really helps. All right. So thank you so much once again, and I'll see you in the next video.